Hello and welcome back. And no, this is not my only shirt. It is my intro shirt that will soon be replaced with the Hit the X t-shirt and hats available soon. Today I am going to be going over my most viewed and successful video. This is Get Your Reticle and Parallax in Sync Part 2. Now that you have all learned how to set your reticle and parallax up, I'm going to show you the best way to mount your scope perfectly level using gravity. The Short Action Customs final scope level, and another design of my own, a plumb bob and string that is exempt from wind blowing it around. So get some coffee and watch this unbeatable way to get your scope on the money. If you find this video helpful, please click the like and subscribe buttons. If you'd like to help me out with this channel, head down to the donate link below this video where you can buy me coffees or become a member. Thank you, and let's take a look at this exciting video. So how many people and how many times have we tried hanging a string line outside only to have it blow around on us all over the place, using heavier plumb bobs and trying all kinds of things, and I just got sick and tired of it because the best way to level a scope is with gravity and string. You can't beat gravity. I've tried lasers. They're okay, but usually you can't see them well at a distance. I've tried a big board and clamping it to something and then using a level and making a line down it. That doesn't work too well too because it's dependent on your level. So a string and a heavy plumb bob, you can't beat that. So what I built is this box. It's made with 1x6s and a 1x10 for the back. Very simple to screw together. I mean, it's basic carpentry. And then I took some plexiglass. I had to get pieces, I had to cut it. There's a seam in the middle, but I put that over it. And then I taped all the edges, all the sides with roofing flashing tape, and it just works fantastic. So down here on the bottom, you will see there's the plumb bob, and I actually even made an access hole for this. I drilled a hole saw on the inside, then I drilled another piece that was bigger and I put a 1/4 bolt through it. But it's an access hole now in case, you know, in transportation this gets tangled up, or I want to change it, or I want to get to it for any reason. That's what that's for. And I put a handle on the side of it. And let me show you if I can do this. I put a 2x4 on the back here, and this so this part I just lift it up and set it down on the fence that has all the target screening on it, and bada bing. It self-levels itself out, obviously, whatever. But this works really, really great. Some guys have asked me to build one for them. I says, no, it's really easy. Really easy. So that is pretty much it. It's just now that plumb bob is not hanging free now because this thing's laying on an angle and it's whatever on an angle that is. So the plumb bob just hangs in the bottom. The string goes straight up to like an eye hook. And it works great. All right, the next thing that I use in this scenario is this. It's called the Final Scope Level, made by Short Action Customs, and it is very ingenious. This takes so much work out of it. It's just a great, great idea. And then you need a level for the back of this. I'll show you how this works in a minute. I would suggest getting a good level. This is about $60, a little 3.5 inch level. It's made by Starrett. It's the model 135B. Okay, it's just a little 3-inch level. Really awesome. Works great. The idea is you mount this on a tripod. You can use regular Arca ball head or something. Make sure it's a good strong ball head. Don't use a cheap one. And you put this on there. Okay, get it as level as you can, you know, so you're not really working at angles and all that. Then you put this on there. So let me show you how this works here now. You'll see there are 3 adjustment knobs, 3 knobs here, and they raise and lower these screws. So you want to get it leveled out the best you can, you know, just by turning these screws. It takes a while to get used to it, which way to go, right or left. It's almost like balancing a scale, but that's not the point here. So once you have this on your tripod and you have it set up and ready to level, here's your rail. This is regular Picatinny rail. You would put your scope on here. You can either put it on first or afterwards. Make sure you don't bump anything. But hopefully, yeah, you can see the bubble there. So I can turn these adjustment knobs, loosen them up until you get it straight, and you just keep playing with them. You know, tighten one, loosen the other, tighten one, loosen the other. And there you go, you're level. So now you know your scope is level. So you'll be pointing down at that scope box, at that string line. You know, you gotta line everything up. There's no way out of that. That's all simple, basic concept. But once you get that done, then the next step is putting your scope on there if it isn't on there already. I usually put mine on there, but then you have trouble seeing this. One thing I wish they would have did when they designed this is bring this part out a little farther. But I'm sure there was a reason they didn't do that, or they would have done that, because that's just common logic. So the next step will be setting up, which I'm going to try to figure out how I can do this, because I don't have anything that films through the scope. And down here in my basement, I don't even have enough distance to do it. So I don't think I'm going to show it through the scope, but I'll show you how to do the adjusting, and you'll understand exactly what I'm saying. The next thing we're going to do is mount this scope. And first of all, what I want you to do on your scope is adjust it for your eye relief. And that just means sliding this back and forth in the rings until you get the proper eye relief. And eye relief, to set the eye relief, you put the zoom at the lowest setting. And you set up on your rifle, if you use a cheek weld, if you put your cheek down or whatever, put your cheek down and open your eye. And this scope should be lined up in your eye, but there should be no blackness around the scope. If it is, you're too close or you're too far. So slide the scope until that blackness goes away. That's called setting up your eye relief. You should never see that. Once you zoom the scope, it doesn't matter. It has to be at the lowest zoom setting. So once you have your eye relief set, you know, you'll have these scope rings loose. Take a pencil, something not permanent or something that's not going to scratch it, and mark it somewhere on the scope to the ring where that eye relief is. That's very important. You're going to have to know where that is. So that's the first thing to do, is make sure you get your eye relief right and you mark it when the scope is loose. Now the second thing is we're going to mount the scope. We just put it on there. And hand tighten it. Now this here scope mount is the best scope in the world, scope mount in the world. I'm pretty sure I mentioned it in other videos, but this is made by F3R machine. This is a one-piece scope mount. Now these call to be snugged down to 50 pounds, but you don't have to do that for this. Just make sure they're tight. Okay, and all your rings are loose, but your scope could have moved around. So when you're doing this, make sure that your scope relief mark is in the right place, so you're not playing with that. And because of this F3R one-piece scope mount, I don't have to worry about taking this on and off my scope. It'll never lose zero, never. So once you have that on there, and you're all line it up. I suggest that if you're doing anything with your rifle or whatever, you always have your covers on, your protective covers over your lenses. You don't want to scratch those, especially this one. So once you're all lined up and you're looking at the box and the line is in there and your tripod is solid, everything has to be solid. If you've got loose, you know, and then go back and check your level. Now this is the part where I say I wish this stuck out farther, but I think that would be kind of stupid. So you have to look in from behind, you know, this way. You can't see me doing this, but I'm looking, now I'm down low and looking from behind. And because my table here is just a bench, it's about as level as, so what you want to do is get that level, tighten both of these down to where it's still level, and then you start. So the way I do it is these are all loose, but you gotta make sure that when you tighten them, you've got the same distance. You've got the same distance in this gap here as you do on the other side. Okay, you don't want to have a 1/4 inch here and this one sitting flat with no distance in it. You want to try to do it so they're equal. Because if they're not equal, when you're tightening one screw, it's going to turn this scope more. So we all know this is a very tedious thing to be doing. But you want to leave the front ones loose and start on the back ones, or leave the back ones loose and start on the front ones. It's not really a critical thing. And just tighten them down by hand, making sure that you can still turn your scope while you're lining up your scope on that line. Now, it's going to move to one side or the other of that line. So you're going to have to be careful of that. Make sure everything is solid. I try to get it as close to the line as I can, like just with a little gap in between it. And you want to slowly tighten the middle one, then the other middle one, then the other left front, left rear, you know, and so forth, until you get it all right. Then go back, check your level, look through the scope, check again, check, double check, triple check, quadruple check. Because it could change on you while you're doing that. Now, once you get everything level and you're sure it's okay, you're not going to have any more cant anymore that will destroy your shots. So then, now that it's all level, this is the best time in the world to put on your scope level. I have an Accuracy First one here. It's different than a bubble level. It actually has some type of bead in there. So it's not like a bubble level that works on here. So this is the best time to put that on there also. And it's the same thing. You got to tighten it slowly to get it level, you know, and then snug it up, make sure it stays level, double check everything again, and you're good to go. Then you just simply take it off of the Short Action Customs final scope level and put it on your gun. And if your gun rail is mounted right, which it should be, or hope, you know, don't buy one at Harbor Freight, but you'll be good to go. And you'll be able to take this off of this gun, put it on another gun, switch it around, and it's going to stay on. Now, your eye relief might not be the same on different guns. You might have a different pull on the shoulder length or whatever. But I'm telling you, this F3R one-piece scope mount is the beefiest, best scope mount I've ever seen. It's made from one piece of solid aluminum, which they square up, of course, and everything first, and then they drill the hole through that block of aluminum first to the size of your scope tube. I think mine are 34 millimeter. Anyways, this is the best and easiest way to do it. Just make sure you're snugged up everywhere, you're using the right torque specs from your scope manufacturer, and you'll be happy. This Short Action Customs final scope level is so cool. Now, when you have this set up on your tripod, obviously you can do more scopes. You can do 100, do whatever you want to do. You know, no more trying to cradle a rifle in a rack, you know, and it pivots and this. It'll never stay straight. I went through them headaches years ago. Then this came out and solved all those problems. And the box, which I forgot to tell you, I'll mention it now too, because you guys are probably wondering what the size is. You don't have to build it the same size, but mine is 85.5 inches tall by 11 inches wide. I mean, you can make a smaller one, but I like to set them out there at 100 yards. At the same distance I'm zeroing in at. Because, you know, if you're trying to do this, you know, at the closest focus you can do it, maybe 10 or 15 yards or something, you know, what good is that? Get it out there. Do it right at a longer distance. I suggest 100 yards. And I think I've rambled on about this, but now we have, with this part 2 here, now we have our reticle focused, we have our parallax, we know how to focus that. We've got our scope mounted perfectly level. Now the only thing you can do is shoot well. All right, thank you.